You may have heard this story, and I think it's brilliant by the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And it's a little bit like what the Cincinnati Bengals used to do, which is, look, find guys whose value is way lower than their actual talent. Right? Find guys whose value is lower than their actual talent. If you look at that, I'm not talking about this Bengals roster, the previous Bengals team that, remember they went to the playoffs 5 years in a row, Andy Dalton was their quarterback? Go back and look at their drafts, and many of the players that they drafted were a round or 2 rounds lower than they should have been, sometimes because of off the field, sometimes because of injury. They were trying to get, they're like me and you. If you go into Banana Republic, if you go into Nordstrom, there still are some brick and mortar Nordstrom stores. What's the first thing you do? Me? I go to the clearance aisle. Like, I don't care about being, like, I don't need to buy something that is the hottest, freshest thing. Like, dude, I know what I want. Besides, you go to Banana Republic, like, what are you getting? You're getting a polo or a sweater and some khakis. Like, some form of that. Right? And, oh, yeah, by the way, styles do change year to year, right? We went from pleats to no pleats, skinny jeans. We're back to, by the way, we're back in baggy jeans. Like, dude, I need to go back to my college gear. I don't know if
We are? We're officially back?
Baggy jeans are back.
I've got a couple skinny jeans.
I do, too.
Never left.
I finally bought into the skinny jean thing, not super skinny, not like you can tell what religion I am skinny, but still a thinner. But now it's like a thicker cut. Like my daughters, they're like wearing super baggy jeans. Like, dude, I would be so cool if College Doug, probably College Doug hair as well, would show up at your high school. He'd be like, your dad's the greatest dresser ever.
You know what I found is still around?
What?
Jinko. Like the super baggy jeans.
Yeah.
That were like basically bell bottoms in the late 90s. They're back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wasn't my jam, which means the Carpenter jeans are coming back in next, right? Remember those Carpenter jeans?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few.
Yeah, Carpenter jeans. None of us were carpenters, and we didn't have the hammer for that. That's, by the way, that's what that little, it's not a pocket, that little, what is that called? That little thing? That's to hold, legit, it's to hold your hammer. That's what the Carpenter jeans, that little piece of fabric. Anyway. So Matt, is it Araiza or Araiza? Araiza, I think is what it is.
Araiza?
Yep. Okay. So Matt Araiza was a star punter at San Diego State. And he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. And before he could play a game, he got cut because he was accused of rape at a college party back when he was on Montezuma Mesa at San Diego State. Right. What's come out since, Jay Stu, I want to make sure that we got the details correct. Was he even at the party? Was he even at the party?
Yeah, I don't know about the specifics, but as it's recapped in the Sporting News, Araiza was cleared by the San Diego District Attorney's Office last December. The office said it would not file criminal charges against Araiza and other players in connection with the incident due to new details emerging from the case.
Yeah, there was all kinds of there was a lot of details that proved that I don't even know if he was at the party, he wasn't with the girl.
Here it is. Prosecutors say that Araiza was still present at the party when the alleged incident took place, despite claims to the contrary from the victim. Sex videos of the accuser during the incident were revealed, and Araiza was not seen in the footage.
Right. So he was like, my name is Ben, I'm not in it. That wasn't me. So, but here's the thing, and it's a really hard challenge for us as a society. And again, it doesn't matter his age, his race, his sex. I truly believe this. Okay. But we're going to do this as Brian Finley did a good job of reading the story, right? Is you'll have people say, well, the only way he could rehab his image is a place like Kansas City where they can all vouch for him. It's a great organization. Brett Veach has done all the background research. Like, no. He doesn't have to rehab his image. He didn't do anything wrong. There's no repairing an image that was sullied because of false claims. Understand? Like, and again, if you think that this is me being inconsistent, it's not. Okay? My work it's very easy to go and track. This is what Jameis Winston's agent said a long time ago. And while Jameis Winston said something dumb and inappropriate that was a meme when he was at Florida State, because, I don't know. And then obviously the grabbing the Uber driver, okay? But what people believe is like, well, that's a third strike. Like, no, it's not. There was no first strike. It just wasn't. Okay, I don't know because I wasn't there, but I know that he had a Title IX investigation at Florida State. Okay? If you know anything about a Title IX, the burden of proof is very, very low. And he was not found guilty of violating her Title IX rights. In addition to the fact there was, I believe, no civil and no criminal case against him. So it's like we're sitting there going like, well, you know, he's got to rehab his image from college. If you didn't do anything wrong and you were falsely accused, there's no rehabbing your image. But that's the damage that's done. And look, if you think that I'm callous and I'm not supportive of women who are sexually or physically abused, you couldn't possibly be more wrong. Okay? I don't have it in me to abuse a woman, but I also don't have it in me to make up the false abuse claims. And both happen, right? It's really hard for us, like normal functioning brains, to think, okay, you could lay a hand on a woman that for, physically brutal or sexually, like it's a really hard thing if that's just not in your blood. That's just not in your DNA. That's just not who you are. Okay. But it definitely happens and it's awful. But on some levels, and I don't know if you want to say equally awful or whatever, but it's probably worse to make up these false claims because not only can it ruin the person who you make those claims against lives into the future, even when it's found out to be false, but you also ruin it for women who really are abused, right? Like, Trevor Bauer. We've talked about Trevor Bauer. Okay, he wants to come on the show. I'm sure we'll do a sit-down, long-form interview. He's done it with Fox News as well. My point about Trevor Bauer is like, look, you may think that he was vindicated, but he ain't ever getting that $100+ million contract back. Ain't happening. And wherever he goes, like even when he, and we've fully disclosed that we've had open conversation with Trevor about coming on the show, and he went and did the interview with Fox News. And even in the Fox News interview, like he was very apologetic. Here's how I was. Here I was acting. I was doing some of the wrong things. But I was like, look, Trevor, like no disrespect. I admire that you've gone to therapy for some of the, and figured out yourself about some of the things that made you maybe seen as weird or a loner or a bit awkward. Okay. But that doesn't make you a sexual predator or, and that's the scarlet letter that you wear, even when like he didn't do anything wrong. Nothing. So I think it's I'm actually most fascinated to see how we handle this as media members. I guarantee there will be stories of image rehab. Why do you have to do image rehab when you didn't do anything wrong? Right? It's not, it was misperceived. It's not a he said, she said, and he got off. No. There were videos. He wasn't in them. It was at a different location. He was at the party. Right? He was completely vindicated. Completely vindicated. So I challenge all of us in the media to not say it's an image rehab or the Chiefs are taking a chance. They're not taking a chance on anything. He has 0 strikes against him. He's getting into the batter's box and he's got a 0-0 count. Now, the perception is he's got a couple strikes against him, right? I mean, like, that's the perception. It's like being with the Clippers, right? You know something's, this Clipper team hasn't failed the way previous Clipper teams have, but there's a perception that somehow they carry this badge of negativity because the Clippers have always failed in the playoffs, right? Not this group. And you say, well, Kawhi, he got hurt. Well, Paul George never played with Kawhi deep into the playoffs. But even that, it wasn't this group with James Harden or whatever. I mean, actually, the Clippers, I guess they carry a little bit because James Harden sucked in the playoffs before, whatever. I don't know. I was coming up with that metaphor on the fly. I don't know if that worked for you. The point is that Matt Araiza, if he's really vindicated, then we kind of don't need to bring it up. It's like, it's part of the story. I understand, Brian, you have to bring it up. It's part of the story. Like that's, but after that, that's it. He's not the guy. If you want to do anything with the story, this is to all of us. Hey, Matt Araiza, how do I know him? He was the one who was falsely accused of something. That's it. There's no, he's got a strike against him. Well, there's image rehab. What image rehab? Like, oh, he partied in college at San Diego State? I mean, when I was a kid, you only went to San Diego State to party. Right? Well, here's a little California insight to those of you in Jacksonville and Orlando and Wichita, where we're number one. Okay. 20 years ago, before San Diego State was good at basketball, that was the biggest party school in California, but it was also everybody's safety school. And supposedly the rumor was, 6-to-1 girls to guy ratio? Wasn't that what we heard? I don't know if that actually true. It felt like you were walking into the Barbie dream house. That's what it felt like, right? Chico State and Humboldt State were the weed schools. You only went there if all you want to do is smoke weed, correct? Right? And then Long Beach State and Cal State Fullerton, which is Fullerton's where you went, isn't it, J-Stu? Which is,
yep.
Now, by the way, Fullerton has a vibrant on-campus community. But those are commuter schools. Right? And the only thing you knew about Cal State Fullerton was they got really good baseball. And Leon Wood played there. Anyway, please, I beg of you, my fellow media members, from this point forward, there is no image rehab. Matt Araiza was falsely accused. Doesn't carry a scarlet letter when there was no crime committed. He wasn't there. Just make sure we get it right. And we'll make sure we get it right when people are accurately accused and go to jail. Because people who perpetrate those crimes on women, children, even other men, put them under the jail. I'm okay with that.